politics, we often measure leadership through numbers, seats won, schemes launched, growth charts and statistics. But every once in a while, leadership reveals itself in quieter ways, in how a leader listens, what he remembers, who he notices, and how present he chooses to be. Well, in 2025, some of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's most defining moments did not come from podiums or policy announcements. They came from conversations, from shared laughter, from questions asked with genuine curiosity, from moments that felt less like power and more like a connection. Well, as the year draws to a close, we look at the moments that shape PM Modi's bond with India's youth in 2025. Moments that show leadership not as a command but as a companionship. When the Indian women cricket team returned home after the historic World Cup victory in 2025, the country expected a formal reception. What they got was something different. PM Modi just didn't congratulate the champions. He remembered their stories, their injuries, even their favorite food. In one quiet moment, injured batter Pratika Rawal, sitting in a wheelchair, watched as the Prime Minister personally served her food. No cameras demanded it, no speeches followed. It was a small act, but for those in the room, it changed the tone of the evening from ceremony to care. The same instinct was visible when PM Modi met the Indian women's blind cricket team, the T20 World Cup champions. No long addresses, no hierarchy. He walked up to each player and the coach, offering sweets by hand, celebrating not with words but with presence. When team captain Deepika TC stepped forward for a photograph, the Prime Minister casually asked her if she sang. Not because it mattered for protocol, but because it mattered to her.
हमने सुना है आप बहुत अच्छा गाना गाती हो।
गंगाधर शंकर करुणाकर।
वाह!
In that simple question was a powerful message. You are more than your medal. You are seen. When PM Modi spoke to astronaut Shubhanshu Shukla, the conversation wasn't just about space missions or national achievement. It was also about curiosity. The Prime Minister followed up on a question he had asked earlier, almost like a teacher checking homework. How does the human body relearn to walk after returning from zero gravity? What happens to seeds like moong and methi when they sprout in space? Well, these weren't scripted questions. They reflected a leader interested not just in success, but in the human journey behind it. Science here was not distant or abstract. It was personal and relatable, rooted in everyday Indian curiosity. The same curiosity shaped PM Modi's conversation with global cultural icons like Diljit Dosanjh. They spoke about village roots, about faith and humility, about staying grounded despite global fame, about environmental responsibility and India's civilizational depth. The message was subtle but clear. Global successes means more when it remains anchored in Indian values. Well, in these conversations, science met culture, tradition met ambition, and leadership became a bridge between generations. Few things reveal a leader's true self more than how they interact with children. In 2025, at his official residence during Raksha Bandhan, formality disappeared. School children tied rakhis on PM Modi's wrist. They hugged him, laughed freely, and shared sweets. There were no speeches, no instructions, just the warmth of a festival the way it exists in Indian homes. The same ease was visible during the visit of US Vice President J.D. Vance and his family. High-level diplomacy briefly paused for something simpler. High fives replaced handshakes. Curious questions from children took priority. Peacock feathers turned into playful lessons. Later, VP Vance himself acknowledged that his children shared a rare comfort with just two leaders, President Trump and PM Modi. Not because of power, but because of warmth.
मेरा सपना था आपसे मिलने का।
अच्छा, कब सपना आया? आज में आया था कि पहले आया था?
बहुत पहले था।
Leadership is often loud, but its most powerful moments are silent. In Nawa Raipur at the Sri Satya Sai Sanjeevani Child Heart Hospital, PM Modi stood barefoot among children receiving life-saving care. He listened, he laughed, he spoke gently about courage and fear. When a young girl told him she wanted to become a doctor, he leaned in and asked softly, Promise?
पहले खेलती थी,
हाँ
अभी भी खेलती हो।
हाँ
आगे क्या करना चाहती हो?
डॉक्टर बनने चाहती हूँ।
डॉक्टर बनोगी, पक्का?
हाँ पक्का।
चलिए।
That single word created a bond of trust. Not an order, just advice, just belief. The same empathy shaped Pariksha Pe Charcha in 2025. PM Modi reminded students that marks do not define life, that confidence comes from preparation and calm, not pressure. At the Young India Bharat Dialogue, he chose not to sit on a stage but at the same table as students, listening, exchanging ideas as an equal. And in Bangalore, after inaugurating the Yellow Line Metro, he travelled alongside schoolgirls, sharing time, not distance. These moments showed leadership not as authority but as a presence. What truly connects PM Modi to young Indians is that his answers come from lived experience. In his 2025 podcast with Nikhil Kamath, he spoke openly about growing up in Vadnagar, about being an average student, about leaving home early, facing anxiety, facing criticism. He called his life a university of adversity. His message was simple but powerful. Pressure eases with discipline. Purpose matters more than outcomes, and confidence grows from experience, not comparison. These ideas weren't just spoken, they were lived. In 2025, PM Modi carried India's values to the world through yoga as a global wellness movement and Ek Ped Maa Ke Naam, turning environmental responsibility into a personal act of gratitude. Personal struggle became public purpose, and values traveled as far as ambition. Taken together, these moments tell a larger story. A leadership style that doesn't rely only on command but on connection. A leader who remembers names, notices people, listens first and speaks from experience, whether with children, champions, students, scientists or artists. PM Modi's approach in 2025 shows that trust is built through listening, inspiration flows from shared journeys, and national confidence grows strongest when leadership remains human at heart. Because in the end, the most enduring power of leadership lies in not how high it stands, but in how close it stays. And that is the style of Narendra Modi.